One day I walked in on Trish Walker being abused by her mother and I asked what the hell is going on here, and then Dorothy Walker said nothing, mind your own business boy, and I used my powers and I commanded Trish Walker's mother to be a good mother to her daughter from now on and to never abuse her again, and then I told her mother to get a really good job to support her and her daughter, and Jessica Jones saw everything and she walked up to me and asked me what happened, and I said I caught Dorothy Walker abusing her daughter and I decided to set the wrong things right. I even made sure that child molester didn't do anything to Trish Walker. I stopped him before he had the chance. I used my powers of mind control on him. Unlike Zebediah Kilgrave, I used my powers for good. I am a real hero with incredible powers. I just loved using my mind control powers to make people do everything right. Unlike Zebediah Kilgrave, I was raised by good parents that truly loved me until one day Professor Xavier came to our house to recruit me and my sister, and I said I can't go, Professor Xavier, there's someone here I care about, but someday I'll join your people, I promise I will see you soon, Xavier. And Professor Xavier said, wait, it's your girlfriend, isn't it? She's in danger, her name is Jessica Jones. And Xavier said, I can help you and the girl, and I said no, we have to stay here for now. And then Xavier took my sister Jean Grey and he said, I'll see you later, James Belmont Grey, and I said it will be sooner than you think, Professor Xavier. And then one day me and Jessica were walking along the street and we both saved people with our incredible strength, and that's when we both met Zebediah Kilgrave. But unlike the original storyline, I was there and I said get out of my girlfriend's head, and then he tried to control me but I didn't do anything he told me to do, and then I grabbed his throat with both of my hands and I said, release her now, Zebediah Kilgrave, and I won't kill you. And he asked me, how is this possible? And I said, I'm a mutant with powers just like yours, except I have true powers and I was born with them and my parents didn't use me as a lab experiment. You're not taking Jessica Jones anywhere. Let her go now. And then he said, okay fine, I'll let her go, and I said, release her, tell her she's free to go. And then Kilgrave said, my powers wear off after a while but I can tell her to sleep, and I said fine, do that. And then he told Jessica Jones to sleep and then she slept, and I said to Kilgrave, leave and never return and forget you ever saw us. And then Kilgrave walked away like a zombie and he never returned, and then he forgot about me and Jessica Jones forever because I used my powers on him. And I said, wake up, Jessica Jones, and she woke up and asked me what happened, and I said a man named Zebediah Kilgrave tried to control your mind but I stopped him by controlling his mind. And she asked me where did he go, and I said it's fine, he's gone and he will never come back, he forgot who we are because I erased his memories of our interaction. There's nothing to worry about, my love. And she said, please never use your powers on me, promise me you will never use your powers on me. And I said, so long as you don't do anything that endangers your life I won't use my powers on you, I love you, Jessica Jones. And then I kissed her passionately, and as a very handsome white guy with beautiful facial features and a strong muscular physique, when I said that Jessica Jones took me back home to our new apartment and she made sweet love to me. Unlike the men in the TV series like Luke Cage for example, I could have sex with Jessica Jones for many hours even after I had came many times in our condoms. And then that was the night she decided to become a private investigator, and she said, you gave me the idea, remember, it's a perfect way for us to help people. And I kissed Jessica Jones passionately and I said, you're right, let's do it, and I could be your sidekick. And she said, okay, but you're more powerful than I am, I should be your sidekick. And then I said, well, we could both be the hero in this story, Jessica Jones. And she said okay. And unlike the original storyline, Zebediah Kilgrave used Luke Cage to kill his own wife instead of using Jessica Jones to do it for him, and Luke Cage became his bodyguard, and no, he wasn't his lover. And I found out about Zebediah Kilgrave making Luke Cage his mind control slave after I found the dead body of Luke Cage's wife, since Jessica Jones grew up with me and she didn't kill anyone yet. She grew up with hope in her heart and she started planning for our future. Since I'm a genius with superpowers, she asked me, do you want to have kids? And I said, I'd love to, Jessica Jones, with you of course. And she said that was exactly the right answer, and I said I know. And she said, you know just what to say, don't you? And I said, I know, love you, and I feel like I might be your soulmate, I've been with you since the beginning, you know that? And she said, yes, I know.